4 more HIMARS are being sent here to Ukraine. These are the high-precision US rocket systems that we've seen deployed here and are already making a difference in this war. They can fire 6 rockets at the same time at targets of more than 40 miles away, and they can be fired from the backs of trucks, making them much more mobile. The US is also providing 1,000 precision artillery rounds. All this is meant to help stop Russia in its gradual advance now in the Donbass.
Foreign ministers of the G20 developed and emerging economies are gathering in Bali, Indonesia, against a backdrop of the war in Ukraine and an international food and energy crisis. Indonesia's foreign minister urged an end to the war in Ukraine. Tensions have been running high at the meeting, with some of the fiercest critics of Moscow's invasion confronting Russia's top diplomat. As Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived in Bali for the talks, he was met by angry shouts.
Anger is boiling over as anti-government protesters face off against the police in Colombo. Demonstrators shook the barricades, demanding the president and prime minister step down. Police responded with water cannons and tear gas. The capital has now been placed under a curfew. Sri Lanka is caught in the grip of its worst economic crisis since it gained independence from British rule in 1948, with soaring inflation and severe shortages of essential goods.
Expelled from Nicaragua. These 18 nuns were escorted to the border by police, first by bus, then on foot like criminals, somber in their step as they crossed into neighboring Costa Rica. Their group, from a branch funded by Mother Teresa, has been in Nicaragua since the 80s, helping the poor. But for Daniel Ortega, the country's controversial leader, they were a threat. Last month, he stripped the organization of its legal status, accused of breaking the country's strict laws that regulate nonprofits.
The world's richest man, Elon Musk, has announced he is terminating his €43 billion Twitter deal. The Telsa CEO says the social media platform has failed to live up to its potential as a platform for free speech and has breached multiple provisions of the merger agreement. But Twitter isn't accepting Musk's declaration and is determined to close a transaction on the price and terms Mr. Musk agreed to. It plans to pursue legal action to enforce the sale.
Two weeks after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right to an abortion, the White House is fighting back. President Joe Biden has signed an executive order meant to shore up access to the procedure.
We cannot allow an out-of-control Supreme Court working in conjunction with extremist elements of the Republican Party to take away freedoms and our personal autonomy.
In announcing the new measure, Biden slammed the court's ruling, calling it nothing more than an exercise in raw political power. Biden has been under pressure from members of his own party to take more decisive action.
As things stand, this may end up being the last shipment of humanitarian aid, food and medicine from Turkey into northwest Syria.
These are hygiene kits. Kitchen sets have already been loaded.
4.1 million people rely on this lifeline, but it must be authorised by the UN Security Council. And in the council chamber, there's deadlock. A resolution to allow the crossing to operate for another 12 months was supported by all members apart from China, which abstained, and Russia, which used its veto. Russia then presented its own rival resolution, allowing the crossing to operate for 6 months, but it didn't pass. It was only supported by Russia and China. Negotiations will continue. The current authorization for the border crossing runs out at the end of Sunday. But Russia doesn't sound in the mood for compromise.
A sickening find in Sydney's flood disaster zone. The helicopter, understood to have been carrying out flood work, apparently suffered a mid-air catastrophic failure, parts of the machine littering the crash site for more than 200 metres. The 7 News chopper spotted the smoke and moved in, alerting authorities. The discovery a shock to Seven's pilot Andrew Millett, who knew the victim and raced up to the wreckage. The chopper, a Bell 206, was apparently on a run from Cattai when it came down near South Maroota. A huge team from police, ambulance, the RFS and SES quickly moved in to find the victim.